treasure right now, Father. Speak to us right now. Minister to us, Father. Father, let the anointing, Father, that comes from your word, Father, flow like rivers of water right now. Father, I pray now in the name of Jesus, you would hide me even as your manservant, Father. That Father, I may, Father, do what you have me to do, Father. Father, open up the people's minds, Father, that, Father, they may receive what you have for them tonight, Father. And, Father, we'll give you the glory, we'll give you the honor, and we'll give you the praise, Father, because of your word bringing life to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. And amen. Look what he says in Psalm 61. Psalm 61. Psalm 61. This is a popular psalm. One of the popular songs. I believe there was even a song that was wrote about this psalm. And we're going to look at it. Look what it says. Hear my cry, O God. Oh, let me get back. This is a psalm of David once again. Not only was it a psalm of David, but this was a psalm to the chief musician. And it was played upon what? Anybody know what it was played for?
Nigga.
Huh?
It says to the chief musician upon Nigga. Forgive me, I'm not trying to be mean or
and Nigga was what?
Okay, but I don't think he was. He just says nigga now.
Yes,
and it sounds like nigga, but it sounds like nigga.
No, it wasn't nigga.
But I don't know. But it says nigga now. N-E-G.
Anybody know what a nigga is? Anybody know what a nigga is? Yes, honey, you know what it is?
A nigga.
A nigga. What was David known for playing? The harp. And a harp is what? A string instrument. So anytime you see the negna, we're talking about what? A string instrument.
We know black folks are playing on it.
Black folks can play anything. Most of your music came after your beat, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was played upon the neck, now which was the string instrument. It's a psalm of David. This psalm is going to give us 3 requests for David. And the first request is what? To hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. So look, he asked for 2 different things. What? He says, first thing, what? I'm crying. So what? I'm looking for you to hear me. One thing we must understand, what? David always would say, what? I'm crying unto the Lord. Why did he say I was crying unto the Lord?
Nobody else to cry?
No. There were other people that you could cry to. You could cry to anybody who did. But why did he always say, hear my cry? Okay. So you say because he's pleading into his father. Okay. I know. Anybody else? Why would David always keep saying, hear my cry?
Asking God to hear his petition.
Huh?
Asking God to hear him.
Say, hear his petition. Okay, go for that. Anybody else? I believe Jesus explains it the best when Jesus said what? What is a father that hears his child cry and doesn't attend to his child's cry? In other words, what? If you're crying unto, if Bubba's just asking me a question, I may hear it and I may not hear it. I may attend to it and I may not attend to it. But if he's crying, what? I got your attention now. So what? I'm trying to listen to figure out what's going on. So that's why David always said, I'm crying. Why? Because I need to have your attention, God. Because I'm going through something right now. I have an issue. I have a problem. I'm going through. So look, he says what? Hear my cry, oh God. Look what it says. Attend. Look. Come close. What? Listen. What? To my prayer.
Yes.
So look, he said, I'm crying, but what? I'm crying in prayer. So he said, come hear it. Look what he said. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Look, he said what? He said that I'm going to cry unto God where? Unto the end of the earth, saying what? I'm going to keep on crying what? Until you answer me. Until you listen to me. Look, until you recognize me. Look, as he said, what? He said that from the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. So look, when I'm going through, what? I'm going to keep on crying until you answer. When I have issues, I'm going to keep on crying until you answer. Now, look what he says here. He says what? Lead me to the rock. That rock, what? Is higher than I.
Come on now.
So look, he said, I got issues, I got problems, I got situations. But look, he says what? He said, I need you to lead me to the rock. Why a rock? I'm crying, I'm going through, but I need to go to a rock. God, lead me to a rock. Why?
The rock is the foundation.
The rock and foundation, okay.
That's right.
If somebody go to the next verse, they'll be able to tell.
I say he your rock and he your foundation. You know what it is. We got that. I can go get it if you want me to.
So why is he telling me to go to the rock?
It can't be because of a rock. It can't be moved.
It can't be moved, or it provides what?
Stability.
It provides shelter. It provides that covering. So look, he said, just don't lead me to any rock. But what? He said, I need a rock that's higher than me. In other words, what? I don't want to be seen. Why? Because I got something covering me. Even in this time. Look, he said, I'm crying. So what? Put me in the place where I'm covered. Just don't let everybody see me crying. Just don't let everybody see me going through. But he said, what? I want to be covered. So look, lead me to the place that's higher than I. And what is higher than I? What's higher than I?
Bishop Taylor, wake up.
No.
Wake up, Bishop Taylor.
I'm going to tell you why.
You going to tell me why? You just sleeping and snoring.
Why did he say lead me to that rock?
It's Bible study.
Because it's higher than him. Because he knew that God is solid.
God said, there you go. God is. He sleeps and snores, but he still know God is. He still know God is higher than I. Look what it says. For what? For thou hast been a shelter for me. So look, he understands what? That rock is what? My shelter.
Yes, sir.
That rock is that place what? That I can go to. Look, he said, you've been that rock. You've been that shelter for me. Look, and a strong tower what? From my enemies. So not only did that rock come and shelter me, but what? But it became a place where what? The enemies cannot come close to me.
Hallelujah.
It became a tower.
Glory to God.
So look, the enemies come, but what? They still can't come close to me. Why? Because I got a tower. Look what it says. Look what it says. Look what it says. Look what it says. 4. He said, I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. Look, he says what? He says, you've given me a rock. You've given me a what? Shelter. You've given me a strong tower. But look what he says. Spoke about. He said what? I will abide what? In thy tabernacle. Look what he says. Forever. What was a tabernacle?
Dwelling.
A dwelling place. A tent. So what? He said, I'm going to dwell with you. I'm going to be in your house. I'm going to be in your presence. What? Forever.
Yes, sir.
He said, I'm not going nowhere. He said, why? Because I'm staying close to you. The old folks used to sing a song. And the old folks used to say, the devil can't get you with your mind. stayed on Jesus. In other words, he said what? As long as I'm close to you, God, I am protected. Look what it says. Look what it says. Look what it says. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in thy covenant of thy wings. In other words, he's saying what? He's saying that I'm going to be safe. Why? Because you're covering me. I'm going to be safe. Why? Because you are protecting me. I'm going to be safe. Why? Because you're guiding me. And look what he says. He says what? Selah. Selah means what? Pause. Selah means what? Think about it. Selah. So he said, I got shelter. I got covering. I have a rock. Shut up. And that's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to think about what God is going to do for us and how God is going to make a way for us and how God is going to open a door for us. And watch this. Then we're supposed to what? Shut up. Why? Because then what? We allow God to do what he wants to do. But what? If we don't shut up, then what? Then the devil starts talking about your issue. The devil starts talking about your problem. The devil starts talking about your hurt. So he said, shut up. Why? He said, because I'm letting God do this, not me. Let me shut up. Let me think about what God's doing for me. Because although the devil's pushing, I still know that God's still in shelter. Let's think about that.
That's like when we try to solve something emotionally, like with family relationships or stuff, or anything, even business. And then we try to solve it, but he had to get in that tabernacle. And he had to get under the covert of the week, because I got this out of that when you say Salah. Like when you're a little boy or something, your father, your mother hug you, or you glad that daddy and mama there, because that's your daddy and mama. But when it's God, you like, oh boy, you can really think about that. Can't nothing mess with you. When God got you over his wings covering you, it's like, who can be against me? God is with me. I mean, that's something to really pause and think about. There is no room for worry. I would shut up.
Which you said that, it would call me to a story. I remember my neighbor Ken, his grandfather used to come over. And his grandfather was just an evil man. I'm sorry, because every time his grandfather would come over, his grandfather would open up his truck, and he had some big old dogs. And he would release them dogs out to chase us. And we would be running from them dogs. Mama! Mama! And the dogs would chase us all up around the house. But when we would get inside the house, he was like, we are protected. We are safe. But as long as we was running, I don't think growing up, I don't think the dogs would ever bite us. But it was just the fact that he would shake them dogs on us. That was an evil man. I remember one day we came out. We had the dogs. The dogs started chasing us. I had Brother Walker, and we had a little picket fence right there. We got rid of the picket fence. A little metal picket fence right there. Walker tried to hop on the picket fence. Got stuck on the picket fence. Like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Say it loud.
That's hurtful, man.
But when you got to that safety, but while we was out there in the midst of it, we knew it was trouble. So he had to say loud, why? He said, no more trouble.
All right.
Look what it says. Fire! Huh? You said what?
That's right.
I don't know what say la vie means.
It's a song.
But what do it mean?
Say la vie. It's kind of like.
But what do it mean?
It's like by problems.
That's right. Oh, okay. I don't want to know. But for thou, oh God, hast heard my vow. Look, he says you're my shelter. He said that you're my dwelling place. He says that I'm going to think about it. But he comes back and said what? For thou, oh God, hast heard my vow. In other words, what? You heard what I wanted. You listened to me. You woke up. You know what I'm saying? Thou hast heard my vow. Thou hast given me what? The heritage of those that fear thy name. In other words, what? He said what? The same blessing that was upon my forefathers.
That's good stuff.
Who was the forefather? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Look, he said what? You've given me this great heritage. What? Everyone that feared you, what? They was blessed, and you made a way for them. So what? He said what? I'm walking in that same heritage.
Come on now.
And you got to know what? You got a right to walk in that same heritage. Look what it says, look what it says, look what it says, look what it says. Thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Look what it says. Thou will what? Prolong the king's life. Look what he said. Thou will prolong the king's life. In other words, he said what? You're going to prolong my life. He said what? You're going to make great things happen for me. You set me as king. So look, I'm not going to die early.
Tell the truth.
Look what it said. Look what it said. For his years, what? For his years as what? Many generations. So look, he said, not only is my life going to be prolonged, but what? So is my generation. I just don't want the blessings to be upon me. But I need the blessings to be upon my seed. And my seed.
Come on
And
now.
my seed. My son was here yesterday. And he just amazed me. I didn't think he had that much sense. He said this. He said, well, I shouldn't say that. But yeah. He said that. He said, yeah. I'm done having kids. And then he sat there and he thought. He said, no, I can't be done having kids. Why? He said, because I haven't had a third yet. So he said what? He said, I gotta bring on that lineage. He said, I gotta make that lineage go on. I said, man, I didn't think he had that much sense to know that lineage have to travel on. So he said, until I get a third, I can't stop.
Be fruitful, multiply.
He knows that the male carries the bloodline.
That's right. The Bible's right.
You can have daughters all day long. Chris daddy was a great man. He owned Chris Texas Coast Station. Everybody knew him in Richmond, whole 9 yards. But you know what? As soon as Chris get married, you know what? That Chris Texaco, that Chris Hurdle name, what? It dies with Chris.
Oh, I ain't been married.
When you close your when you close your eyes, whatever, whenever you change your name, your daddy heritage died.
Oh,
That heritage is over with.
no, we can't have it.
But Bubba came to the realization, I can't let the heritage stop. Why? He said, I gotta have a male child. Why? So the heritage can continue. Yeah.
What if son John
Uh-huh.
parents didn't have a son?
Right.
So they put his name in Johnson.
It's Johnson.
As a mother.
Mhm.
So the line could still go on.
Uh-huh.
But is that still the line? Because,
But Winthrop's name is dead.
huh?
Winthrop's name is dead.
Yeah. What's his name?
The Johnson name live on.
Right.
But the Marshall name dies. The Winthrop Marshall name dies.
Right.
That's why it was important for you to have a male child. Why? To bring on that heritage.
Okay, but with it being mother's child,
A mother could give the child to anybody and change the heritage.
Oh, like Naomi with Ruth
Uh-huh.
to Boaz.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And then you had to have like what? David, Solomon on down.
Mm-hmm. You had to bring somebody in the lineage to keep the lineage going. Yep, but as soon as Imani get married, but as soon as Imani get married or Imani die, then
She can't get married either.
I don't have that problem.
Now,
I don't have that problem.
My last name is Taylor.
Mine is going on.
women actually keep their last name and the husband's last name.
Just
So it's like hyphenated. So yeah, did y'all hear me?
yes, sir.
I was saying that now these days the women will keep their name and their husband's last name, so it's hyphenated.
Right. But the last name is from the man.
Sometimes, but it
This is
still,
right.
it still cuts off that heritage. Still.
When it's the woman.
When it's the woman, it cuts off that heritage. So you gotta have that man that keeps on that heritage. That's why. That's why. Abraham. Y'all remember the story of Abraham? We know Isaac wasn't the firstborn, but who was the firstborn? Ishmael.
The one that started the Muslims.
Ishmael
Right.
does what? Ishmael was supposed to do what? Anybody remember what Ishmael was supposed to do?
Come on, Taylor.
No, he was supposed to carry on Abraham's name.
I wasn't sure. I was close.
Yeah, he was supposed to carry on the name.
That's
he
right.
was supposed to carry on the lineage.
That's it. That
Because
is right.
Abraham had no other kids.
That's right.
But as soon as Sarah has a child, her first thing is what? Kick Ishmael out, because he's no longer needed.
Wasn't that
He
kind
was
of
the
evil?
bastard. Not the bastard. He was the
Sarah was a little bit of half of it.
Right. He was a servant child.
right. So Sarah didn't have
But although for a brief moment, Ishmael had the birthright.
He was the ideal son.
He was the firstborn, so he was going to carry that right. But now the lineage is broken.
But they both got the same last name, so that still was wrong.
Whether the same last name or not, he wasn't the pure blood of Sarah. So Sarah was like, no, I want somebody that's my pure blood to carry on.
It's crazy you bring this up. I know we're kind of off subject, but we're not. I always feel like sometimes it's a difference when it's not your biological child
It is.
and a stepchild.
It is.
When two
Well,
people try to come together where they don't have the same kids.
It is. It is.
They're gonna treat you with respect and love, but it would be so. It's still different from your blood.
Let's get it right. You love both kids as your whole heart, as your whole mind. Just like people. I love them like they're my kids. They're my kids. I don't know this. If I would do it for love, I turn around and do it for them. I don't need no difference.
right.
But at the end of the day, we know that if the blessing had to come through, if I had $1 and that dollar had to go somewhere, where was the dollar going? It was going to my son. Although I got all these kids that I love. Some of them I have even personally raised. I built them up and grown them. I look like, yeah, they do it. That's my baby. I look at it. I remember one day, one of them was smoking it. He was all the rest of it. Like, I went and pulled this one, and I yanked this. I was like, come on, you coming with me. I'm like, it's mine. It's mine. So I got a love for it. But then when it's your bloodline, you still gonna reach and grab for that. So that's kind of how it went. Look what's here. Where we at? Oh, 6. That will prolong the king's generation and generations. Look what's that. He shall abide what? He shall abide what? Before God. Y'all know what he said? He shall abide before God forever. Look what's that. He shall abide before God forever. Look, so he said what? My lineage, my seed, I'm going to go what? before God forever. Look what it says. Oh, prepare mercy and truth. Which what? Which may preserve him. Look what he said. He said God equipped us. Make us right. Why? Because he said we want our lineage to be preserved. Now we know when we look into the Bible that this was his prayer, but we know what? That his son that next took over, what ended up happening? Nobody knows?
Went astray. He
Went astray. Why? Because he loves strange women.
Right.
So people act. People act. Say, Pastor, is it okay for me to date somebody that's a Muslim, or is it okay for me to date somebody that don't go to the church? And the answer is what? Yeah, but you got to be very careful. Why? Because you love this person so much, but you may be led away.
Turn you from God.
They'll turn you. They will turn you away. Don't think that you can change them. I tell people all of the time, if they fat,
cut the fatness out.
don't think that you can make them skinny.
If they skinny, can I make them fat?
If they fuck, don't think you can make them quiet. If they like to fight, don't think you can stop them from fighting. What you see is what you get.
Tell the truth.
And if anything, I think Mother Whitney is instead of it getting better, it'll get worse.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things I tell people in marriage counseling, I say, what is the one thing that you just can't stand about?
Don't come out anyhow. Help me do this.
And they'll tell me this, and I say, well, can you put up with that? Because if you can't put up with that, let's say that this person cheat. Some people can deal with people cheating on them. They okay with it. But that might not be your testimony. And you know this person cheats. I tell them, say, now you can't get mad about them cheating because this is what they do. Now, can you put up with this person cheating? If the answer is yes, okay. But if the answer is no, then you got to keep moving on. I don't care how much you love the person. Why? Because it's not going to work. Yes.
So, you put up with that, but you don't keep
As long as your spouse is going to agree. Now, is both of y'all sinning?
Jada
Yes.
and Will.
What was the
Will and
question?
Jada.
Huh?
Which you say, Mariah?
I said, okay,
And I
you
agree.
can put up with
You can put up with them cheating.
And I agree.
But
Like that
I'm going
song
to cheat too.
said. Not me.
What
They
is
I
ain't
ain't
gonna
agree.
put up with that.
Huh?
They,
I ain't gonna
they
do
won't
that.
do it and redo it.
But I think the question was, is that wrong? If it's okay for him to do it,
Good
it's
for the
okay.
goose, good for the gander.
If that's what y'all agree to in your marriage, fine, but y'all both sinning.
Will and
The
Jada.
bed is undefiled between the two.
Right.
So if you creeping out of your bed, whether y'all agree or disagree, you're still sinning. You are committing adultery at that point. So although we agree on it, don't mean that God agree with it.
I mean, we both got to cheat on each other. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Some people like it. Some people like that.
I know, that's crazy.
And some people allow that in their marriage.
Will and Jada.
I was gonna say
You staying early.
that I was gonna say like ministering to someone in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that person already knows, going to church and stuff. still have some mental issues about, and also uh, drink, and smoke weed and stuff. And but the reason why is that because he has mental issues, like he used to drink, to take that paranoid.
That's
And yeah, that is an excuse, and I think, but I was like saying, like, at a sober moment, like, I feel like it's a good thing for me to minister to that person. Like, understand that person. And I don't know, I just felt like I could be a help to that person.
okay. Let me help you here. If the person is having mental issues, the first thing for you to ask yourself is what? Can I deal with your mental issues? Because the mental issue is probably not going to change. They're probably taking medicine, and if they're not taking medicine, they're using the drug for their medicine.
Exactly.
Because they're having these issues, and because they're having these problems.
Exactly.
So can I deal with your mental issue? And if I got an addictive personality, and this person is dealing with an addiction, do I want to go back to where I was before? Do I want to go back to that addiction? So you got to ask yourself that within, because 9 times out of 10, with you having an addictive personality, that person is you're not going to draw that person, but that person will draw you back to your addiction. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. Yes.
I also say this, I know people like this, right? That normally have an addictive person, not addictive personality, but that really drinks hard, and usually it stems from childhood. It's an abuse from childhood. I know somebody really successful, like kind of successful, but like now he smokes weed. He used to drink, now he's supposed to hold out weed, right? And I asked him, like, dude, you need to do all that. You can buy something, right? But it's all about trying to prove something to somebody. That's his life, is actually show how rich he is, to show this. In order to mask it, he'll smoke or drink. Because you never feel good enough, right? And it stems from childhood because the father told him, I knew the person's father. The father would tell him, you ain't never gonna be this and this and this, and keep on messing with the kid. So when they get older, they get that. That's what it is.
And he's trying to cover up his hurt from what his father did. Mm-hmm. So he's using drugs and alcohol to suppress what his daddy has said.
Man.
And that's why most people use drugs and alcohol and stuff. Why? Because they're trying to suppress their reality. When really you're supposed to deal with that reality and what? Give it over to God.
Like you said, lead me to that rock that higher than
Right, lead me to that place. Lead me to that place that's greater than what I am, because I can't deal with myself. Let me say this. All of us deal with some type of addiction.
Yes, sir.
It may not be alcohol, and it may not be drugs, but it could be food, it could be sex, it could be people, it could be anything. But you gotta learn how to control what your addiction is. Yeah. You gotta first admit it. Admit that I got this problem. Mother say every week that she love these men and she love her. And whole 9 yards, and she would do anything and whatever. But she had to admit that what? She said that I got a problem with loving these people too much. I'm giving them too much, and they giving me nothing. So what? Mother had to go to God and say, God, just take it away from me.
Right.
Why? Because I don't want to be addicted. I don't want my heart to be going to this. I'd rather give you my heart.
That's right.
I'm kind of summing it up, mother. She was addicted to giving her heart to me, and she had to wake up and say, no, not my heart. Yes.
Okay, like the sister was saying, you were saying with Mother and with Tasha, sometimes we see the forest. What is it? The forest between the trees.
Uh-huh.
And you know, sometimes the picture can look good. When you get inside that forest, it's a whole lot of stuff
The
different.
picture always look good.
Yeah. And then you can love somebody more than you love God, and that'll control your emotions, and it'll mess you up.
Watch
But
this.
if you ask God to lead you to that rock
Watch this.
that's
Watch
higher
this.
than you,
Watch
your
this.
emotions will be solid.
Watch this. The devil is not going to give me Gavin, a David, a Tony. Why? Because he knows that he knows that that's not what I want.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
But then he'll give me a woman. But he'll give me a woman that's willing to do everything I like and willing to tell me everything I like and whole 9 yards. And what? I'll get led away. Why? Because I'm liking this woman.
I don't know what you talking about.
And I start loving this woman more than I love God.
Ain't no woman gonna love me. I ain't gonna love no woman more than God. You got it mixed up. You got it mixed up. You love God. I love God more than a doggone woman.
I believe it was Paul. I believe it's in 1 Corinthians 7. He said the husband, what? No. He said it's better to be single. He said because the married person, what? Thinks on things of their spouse. The single person, what? Thinks of things on God. My heart is to God. But when you put that other person in, why? Because I'm loving this person with my everything. And I'm liable to give up everything. Why? Because I'm trying to make this person happy.
Yep. Tell the truth.
That's why you got to find somebody that loves God just like
Like
you
you.
love God.
That's right.
That's
right.
right. Say that again, folks.
And love you too.
And love you too. Just don't love God. I just don't want nobody to love God.
Me too. Now come on.
But I want you to love God the way that I love God, but I need you to love me too.
That's right. Amen.
But they divided in the church. I hear ladies say, I love Jesus, but they don't love their husband. Or they don't love their wife.
And that's not of God. That's not of God. Huh?
No, I said you're supposed to love your
Unbalanced.
husband, love your wife.
Right. You are supposed to love your
You
husband.
guys are married.
Huh? Yes, you are supposed to love your husband. You're supposed to love your wife. But
You should love God first.
you should love God first. You know, I told people and people say it's wrong or whatever. And I tell anybody in any relationship that I'm in, say that, you know, God is first. You know, I told my wife all the time that God is first. God and ministry is first. God and ministry go together. I can't separate. So if you can't deal with that, then you can't deal with me.
Get the stepping.
I'm not saying that you're number 3. But I'm just saying, God, if you can't deal with God in the church, it ain't gonna work. Because this is where my heart's at.
That's right.
And I'm not gonna give up where my heart's at for you.
Well, that's what the Bible says. The unbelieving depart. Let them depart. A brother and sister not unbonded in such cases. If they won't leave you because you loving God with all your heart, and you ain't in the bondage.
I had a young lady I was talking to. She got upset with not too long ago and put it up on Facebook. Is it right for a man to choose his career over you? Huh? Yeah, ministry was the career. Yeah, she called it ministry a career, but it's not really a career to me.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Prophet Tony on point now.
I'm doing this for God.
That whole quote was our perspective. You should be able to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't defile God.
Exactly. Come on now.
Which is basically being a creator. You can create, like you know, it's actually better to be a creator, like create things like that. You're supposed to be God's image, so it's supposed to be able to create things. But as far as like witnessing and church and being a minister, that's not a job, that's an obligation.
Don't get me wrong. I love women, but I rather please God before I please you at home.
Well,
and me as a leader, me as a pastor, that's okay. So some of y'all, that may not be y'all testimony. You may have to go take care of family first. Before you take care, before you go to church or before you do this for God, you may have to take care of family first. But my thing is, no, I'm going to take care of God, and then everything else becomes secondary. I go on vacation, and I'm looking for me a church first. Say,
That's right.
I got to go worship somewhere.
That's right. Come on now.
You mean you going to worship on vacation? Yeah, because my heart isn't worshiping God. So if your heart ain't set up to worship God.
Oh, Bishop, can I say something?
You say what, mother?
Can I say something, Bishop?
Okay, let me see now. Which church I'm going to go to? I'm going to go to this or that. I'm going to somebody.
I'll find somebody too. I don't care
Sure
who
do
the
that.
church is. I'll find it.
In St. Louis, Detroit.
Somebody's church.
You sure do that.
Now we can do whatever we want to do afterwards.
I'm going to church.
Well, a lot of people put their husbands and their wife first. But if you put God first, God will give you whatever you want. Y'all don't hear me today though. If you put God first, He'll fix it.
But Tony, you still will be tempted.
No, I wouldn't.
You still
No.
the enemy will tempt you.
No, he ain't. No, he ain't. He don't tempt me.
He tempt everybody. He tempt each other.
He don't tempt me.
I had a young lady.
You ain't exempt. I ain't exempt.
I had a young lady not too long ago.
But the devil ain't gonna tempt you. He'll tempt me. He'll tempt everybody.
I had a young lady not too long ago. I had her in my time ago. But I had a young lady not too long ago. She said, and she like, ooh, prayer is just so good. Prayer is just so awesome. And I'm not gonna miss prayer because God's moving on me in prayer. And oh my God, and she was excited about it. But as soon as she let it out of her mouth, what did the enemy do? He
Really?
pushed her.
He said, "Oh, really?"
He pushed her.
He pushed her.
And I don't believe she made it back to a prayer meeting since then. Maybe one time. But she's like, I gotta do it. But as soon as you say what you gotta do, what the enemy will push you.
Sure, you gonna test him.
And say, let's see if you can do it.
Let's see. He'll bring the right one. He brought Delilah to Samson.
Yeah.
He can bring the right one.
Yeah.
He got 6,000 years.
And let me say this before we start saying people are wicked because they're doing it. It's not even of themselves.
Come on, help me.
It's the enemy that comes within them. The enemy tempts you with what you love. With what you love.
Like Whitney
Somebody out on the street can tell me, well, I don't like this about you. I don't like that about you. And home now yours, I could be like, okay. And I believe it was a young lady few weeks ago that walked by the church and she said something negative about it. I was like, okay, well, you don't come here no way, so it really doesn't matter to me. Your opinion, Bob. I think I was parked up in the red. Y'all do a whole bunch of sin to be church. Like, okay, God bless you. I see you.
Show me who she is, Bishop.
It don't matter.
Chew her out.
It don't matter no why because it didn't affect me.
I am.
But let somebody in here, let somebody I'm loving on say, like, hold on, what is you talking about, mother? You said I'm doing what? Just when it affects me. Why? Because it's something close to you.
I got you, Bishop.
It's not what's far
What
away.
you love.
It's not what you love.
Maybe that's why Adam took up the fruit, because he loved Eve.
Right, because
He
he
wouldn't have
loved.
took it if he didn't love Eve.
Because he loved.
So don't say
Let's go.
that.
My time is up.
We
That's
showed
my
them
time.
how to
Look what I
use
say. I got two verses. He shall abide before God forever. Oh, prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve them. He says what? He said, I want to keep them moving forward. I want to keep them going forward. Look what it says. Look what it says. 8, he said what? So will I sing praises unto thy name forever. Look, he said, God, if you keep doing this for me, what? He said, I'm going to keep praising you. Look what it say. What's that? That I may what? Daily perform my vow. In other words, what? He said, I'm going to daily continue to do your will. I'm going to daily continue to worship you. I'm going to daily continue to give you my all.
Come on, that's
Amen. God bless you. God bless you.
Excellent,
God
Bishop.
keep you.